Hey friends! So today's video is going to be completely different from my usual content. I want to talk about something that's really personal to me. So as most of you know, I'm from Southwest Missouri, and I lived in Aurora, Missouri at the time during the 2011 Joplin tornado when that hit. It was an EF5. It was the seventh deadliest tornado in the history of tornadoes being recorded. 161 people were killed. There's a new documentary out about it that's getting really great reviews, and I'm going to do something kind of weird and recommend it to y'all without watching it because I'm not ready to watch it. I don't think I could get through it without getting pretty upset. But I'm going to read some reviews to y'all. Okay, this is from the Joplin Globe. A documentary about the 2011 Joplin tornado that debuted Wednesday on Netflix has received generally positive reviews from residents with trigger warnings. I thought it was well done, said Bob Hicks, who rode out the tornado with his family in their home near Cecil Floyd Elementary School. Hicks said his home was damaged in the storm, but that the heart of the EF5 tornado passed north of him. It definitely brought up some memories. I think that perspective from the kids in high school was a good approach. It was a side of the story I hadn't heard much of before, so I was pleasantly surprised. There were definitely some triggering scenes. The Twister, Caught in the Storm, is one of a number of documentaries made about the tornado, which ranks as the seventh deadliest tornado in U.S. history and the deadliest in more than 70 years. The tornado was responsible for the deaths of 161 people and the destruction of thousands of homes and hundreds of businesses. The 90-minute documentary focuses on six young people, some of whom were graduating when the tornado hit May 22, 2011, some of whom were underclassmen, and others who lived in Joplin and didn't go to school. That's a big thing, y'all. When the tornado hit, there was actually a graduation ceremony just finishing at the high school, and it hit the high school. One was a 13-year-old San Diego boy who was interested in meteorology, coming to job shadow with KOAM Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty. Hetty had recommended the boy, Chad Crilly, and his mom fly to Joplin May 22nd through 25th, 2011 for the best chance to see severe weather. Well, they saw it, y'all. They saw it. The two landed at Joplin Regional Airport 2 hours before the tornado hit. Crilly is today a chief meteorologist at a television station in Kentucky. Hetty said Thursday that he had been working with a documentary production company, which flew to Joplin from London 5 times in about 18 months. Ooh, I didn't realize the production crew was from London. I bet they were a little weirded out by the weather if they aren't used to that, if they're all actually from the UK. He says the story they chose to tell was a good one, but they could have gone so much more in depth. They could have gone to emergency management, fire department, police department, all the health industry that had to deal with thousands of people being injured. But when they contacted me about a year and a half ago, they told me they were doing a documentary and told me up front it was going to be about high schoolers who are now in their 30s and how it changed their lives. So my thought is what they told me they were going to do. It was a very good documentary, but I also understand people's frustrations about how it could have gone much deeper. It says the documentary also talked to friends of Will Norton, who graduated with the Joplin High School class of 2011 on the afternoon of May 22nd and was killed when he was dragged from the vehicle he and his father were driving home in. So it goes on to talk about the other kids after that. I was honestly a little surprised that this article didn't go more in depth about Will, but Will is important to a lot of YouTubers, especially YouTubers who come from Missouri. So Will Norton had a YouTube channel as a teenager back when it really wasn't cool to have a YouTube channel. Most people had no respect for it, and kids weren't trying to be content creators like they are now. This is Will's channel, Will the Beast. And there were unkind people at the time who liked to say things like, oh, he's only having that success on YouTube because he comes from a relatively wealthy family and he has content about, trips to Africa and things like that. But again, the YouTube verse and algorithm just wasn't really well understood or respected yet at the time. Will would be huge today if he was still alive, and mainly it would be because of his personality. He had a great personality for YouTube. Now, I'm going to show you one of Will's older videos here, and it's so eerie and ironic because he posted this in 2009 about a storm hitting Joplin where he felt he could have died.
It's May 8th, 2009, and today I nearly died. I wake up this morning and it is storming like crazy. I can hear the hail on the roof. I look out my window. The pool is going crazy because there's so much water flowing into it. The trees are crazy. It's still pitch dark outside and it's like 7:20. So I get ready really fast and I rush to school, out the door, and then I'm leaving for school and there is just tons of rain, and it's like every street is just like one entire puddle. And I'm going, and there's trees down in the road, so I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be late. I passed through 18 stoplights on my way to school. 4 of them exploded. Okay, there was these huge. I didn't know, but if you ever seen the power go off on
Some people might wonder why on earth he was trying to drive to school in a storm like that, but you have to understand when you live in Tornado Alley, you have bad storms all the time, and we can get pretty blasé about it. That's a tendency people have. We have until we get hit. I was hit last year, and I have a whole different outlook on tornado preparedness and safety than I have my entire life. Living near these storms around them, having them go by, helping clean up after the people have been hit, going to benefits and wakes and funerals due to tornadoes. It's still, when it always misses you, you have a feeling that it's always going to miss you until it doesn't.
stoplights, there's this bright blue light that comes from all of them. I don't know what that is. There's probably like a scientific reason. I don't know. But they were like exploding. And then
So whenever a storm starts taking out power lines, it can cause power surges to different places that were being fed or receiving from that line, and they explode. These transformers explode, lines go crazy like fireworks and tornadoes. I've seen it too many times. But that's what he's talking about.
I saw so many ambulances, which kind of freaked me out because I had to pull over into the big puddles, and I was like, ah. Keep in mind, I drive a Hummer, so really I shouldn't have any reason to be scared. But then I turn on the main road of my town, and the wind is so crazy. You just see water. It's like horizontal rain, and all the cars are like veering. I was having trouble keeping my car on the road. I drive a Hummer. This should not be happening. Anyway, so you can look down the road and you just see each individual business's lights go out. It was actually really cool, and then they come back on.
It's
But
wild when you
the
see
thing that
that.
annoyed me was the street lights were so annoying because it was all.
I'll link Will's channel in the description if any of you want to go check it out. His family keeps it up in memoriam to him. So Will Norton's sister has a really popular YouTube channel called The Style Blog. She's a YouTuber also, and 4 years ago she did a tribute.
Gosh, this is such a hard video for me to record and post. But I thought, what would Will do today if he was here and I wasn't? And I think this is exactly what he would be doing. So it just feels right. Plus, I don't feel like I should just post another beauty video today and kind of gloss over this day because I really want to remember my brother on the 9th anniversary of his passing. Plus, this video is not all sad, I promise. I found a video that I really love that has never been posted anywhere of both of us on our Africa trip. So I promise I'm gonna post that at the end. We were truly best friends, and I am like beyond blessed that I got to spend 18 years of my life with him as my brother and my best friend. So if you don't know what or who I'm talking about, my brother Will Norton passed away in the May 22nd, 2011 Joplin tornado. Very obviously unexpectedly, very tragically, and I made an entire video about that. So I'm gonna link that here and put it in the description also in case you wanna watch that before you watch this video. It'll make a lot more sense that way. Every year on May 22nd is try to remember Will and do things that he loved to do. So that usually means going to Starbucks and getting a white mocha, his favorite drink, or going to Sonic and getting an ocean water, which is his other favorite drink. He loved to take pictures with his tongue out. Guys, there's no doubt about it. Losing a loved one sucks. It's the worst pain ever, especially when it's someone close to you, like your family member or your best friend, like Will was to me. So just know that even though today, like, I'm hurting, I know others of you out there are hurting, and I'm praying for you. You guys are all so, so special to me, and you hold a special place in my heart. Okay, so let's actually get to something fun, guys. Gosh, enough of me crying. That is absolutely enough.
Jumbo, check out hotel number 2. We're room number 10. We have to go up this cool little walkway, and there's our hut. And there's Will. We just got here after we went on a safari all day. We saw elephants and giraffes and zebras, cheetahs. Here's Will.
Hello. Are you posting this to YouTube?
Probably, but no one watches my YouTube.
My people. I'll put it on my Twitter.
Uh-uh.
Welcome to Create Africa.
Welcome. Here's our little lounge.
I haven't sat in it yet. Extremely comfortable. You have no
Oh yeah.
It's like heaven.
There's no locks, so anyone can come in. It's all mosquito
All
net.
the lions can just. Oh, there's no fences, so the lions in the park can just come.
I don't
right
think
in.
they go up the stairs, but anyway, there's a
But
little
if they smell
cute little
marshmallows.
desk. What do
So as you can see, they were just a really cute family, brother and sister family, and Will had just graduated. I believe it was his Hummer that he was talking about that him and his dad were driving home from the graduation, and it had a sunroof. And the tornado, it busted the glass and sucked Will out the sunroof. And it was hard to find him. I went and helped with cleanup a few days after the tornado, and then I also went back for a protest that I'm going to tell y'all more about later. But I was in several Facebook groups where the family had created to post tips to try and find Will. And he was finally found. Instead of trying to tell you all about it, I'm just going to bring up a news story.
Tonight, the search for Will Norton is over. He's the teenager who was on his way home to his graduation party when he was pulled out of his vehicle as the twister hit. Lindsay Shively was there as she talked to her family about this tragic ending.
Will Norton's story captured the attention of the world, and crews had been to this area searching because this is where the car he was in had been found after the storm. But there was just so much debris loaded inside of these ponds, just like everywhere else, that it took several tries, and it wasn't until Friday night, almost a week after the storm hit, that crews found his body. The 18-year-old YouTube sensation was on his way home from his high school graduation, going to his graduation party with his father. They were almost home when this storm hit. We just heard from his aunt that his father actually broke his arm and shredded his bicep, trying to hold on to his son as tight as he could. But in the end, he couldn't hold on long enough. The storm sucked Will Norton through the sunroof of his father's car. His family's comfort in this, they said, is that Will wasn't in the debris for days waiting for help.
I can't tell you how difficult it was for us as a family to be out there searching every day and being worried that we would miss him and that we would have passed by him and he would have suffered. And knowing that he was gone right away was just really a blessing for us, and we're really thankful.
This may have been where Will's life ended, but it is not where his legacy will stop. The family has said it has been so therapeutic to read the comments online from around the world of people that loved Will and were praying for them. But now they want that attention to go to the families and friends who still have loved ones lost in this tornado. From Joplin, Lindsay Shively, NBC Action News.
Now, something I don't know whether or not the documentary goes into detail on is the fact that, to add insult to injury, a hate group called Westboro Baptist Church decided to come to Joplin. Now, if anyone looks up Westboro Baptist Church, I encourage you to make sure, please, you only click on news articles about them, because they are very, very proud of how many people visit their website. They're also proud of how many people Google them, but there's nothing I know to do about that. Here are some pictures. As you can see, this tornado was devastating. It took out a mile-wide swath through the busiest part of town, hit the school just as the graduation had ended. It was a lot. Let me read you this article. After the trauma of last week's tornado, the deadliest on record, Joplin, Missouri will now be descended on by a hate group. Westboro Baptist Church will protest President Barack Obama's visit to the town on Sunday. News of the hate group's visit traveled quickly, sparking people to action. Amid the rubble, people are standing up in support of this town of 50,000, including the 125 dead and more than 900 injured. At that time, it was 125 dead because not everybody had been found yet. The search went on for a long time, and I know a lot of people who are still in therapy to this day who weren't even hit. They were part of the rescue teams, and the mangled bodies and remains that they found of people, adults and children, traumatized them as much as almost as the people who were actually hit. Within hours, Facebook communities popped up planning how to respond peacefully to the Westboro Baptist Church. At last count, 18 groups had formed, comprised of between 5 to more than 10,000 people each. In these pages, you can find the work of ordinary citizens standing up for their neighbors. Responders plan to line 2 major streets with flags and pro-Joplin signs during President Obama's visit this Sunday. But But the support is not limited to people with a personal connection to Joplin. People are sending well wishes from Kansas City, Missouri, planning a motorcycle cavalcade from Coffeyville, Kansas, caravans from Northwest Arkansas. Others are pledging $1 for every Westboro Baptist Church picketer to the Ozark Red Cross. Whether to respond to hate groups is a contentious issue. Some say anything that calls attention to the hate group is providing them with the exposure they desire, and all seem to agree that direct confrontation with the hate groups is counterproductive. But here at Not Our Town, that's the website that I'm reading this from, we have found that communities want to affirm their values and support each other. As with Tucson, we want the people of Joplin to know that we stand with them and hope that those of you in the Not Our Town community will stand with them as well. Please connect with the people of Joplin. I'm going to try to find pictures of the rally. Okay, so I was at this rally. At that time, I had a pixie cut. I had my hair all spiked up, and I put on a white wife beater tank top. I put on a white tank top, just the plain ones that you get from like Dollar General, got some highlighter markers and put a big old rainbow flag on it. Okay, before I tell you more about the rally, actually I want to take a moment and tell you exactly who Westboro Baptist Church is. This isn't your regular kind of just Baptist church that maybe has some old school outdated beliefs. This is a hate and terrorist group. So when Westboro Baptist Church does their protest, they like to do them at tragedies and at military funerals. Let me see if I can find the statement that they put out about the Joplin tornado and their announcement to come protest President Obama visiting there. I'm going to try to find it without actually going to any of their sites. Okay, I can't find the statement, and apparently their website is down, which is good news. I haven't tried to keep up with Westboro's activities because it's too distressing. This is a horrible group. But I found an article that slightly goes over it. Most of it, I wouldn't say, those words are not going to come out of my mouth. I was going to put it on screen and show y'all. But Westboro Baptist Church issued a press release thanking God for the 120 plus fatalities. And they actually literally said, "We thank God for the dead children of the FAG town of Joplin." Joplin was known as one of the most diverse places in Southwest Missouri, and there was a large LGBT community there that wasn't a big thing yet in other cities in the area. Joplin was a bit of a haven. Westboro Baptist Church said that they were protesting the beast Antichrist Obama, as they called him at the time, in the FAGGOT town of Joplin, and worshiping and praising and thanking God for him killing the children of the town. That's these people. Let me show you what some of their signs look like. Yeah, so this is what they do. And they like to go to funerals, military funerals specifically. See if any of those signs are up here. This is the kind of signs that they were taking to military funerals at the time. So that was the kind of protest that was planned whenever everyone found out that Westboro was going to come to Joplin, just because Obama was president and he was coming there. They were going to come act fool and thank God for the dead children. A big protest is planned in Joplin. And like I said, I went to that. I didn't ride my bike to this one because I was also helping clean in Joplin at the time. A lot of people I knew lived there. One or two people I was acquainted with were lost. I don't want to talk about that too much or I'll be crying on y'all. Let's go back to the Joplin anti-protest. Okay, so I was at this one. I had a pixie haircut at the time. I spiked it all up. I got a cheap white tank top and some highlighter markers and made myself a rainbow flag and went and stood in line against Westboro. Let's take a look at what that looked like. Not sure how much they really caught because there were thousands of people there. Hopefully they show more scenes. Yeah, there we go. People were lined up and down the streets.
So yeah, I just wanted to show our support. God loves people. And
I want to point out that their press release that I told you about started out with something like "God hates Joplin." So that's why a lot of Christian groups showed up to say God loves Joplin. This protest was honestly one of the most amazing experiences because there were so many diverse people coming together for the same reason. There were political groups there were Democratic groups there were Republicans there were Christians there were atheist groups there were pagan groups there were bikers there. People, Anonymous was really big at the time. There were people walking around in the V for Vendetta masks The shirts said anonymous on them. There were all kinds of people, and nobody cared about their differences with each other at this time. Everyone was coming together to say, no, this hate will not enter our town in this time of tragedy. We are not letting this in.
It's all about what Christ done for us.
We're here to respect what's happened and to honor the people who passed, and just to be here to protect those that are dear to us, and be true to our state and our nation.
But those guys are false prophets, man. They're preaching hate. Everything is hate, and that ain't right. Love one another. You know what? It's in the
Love one
Ten
another.
Commandments. Don't bear false witness. They're doing all that. It ain't right. They're misleading their children, and when they do that, the blood is on their hands. Well, it makes me feel good to be a biker. I've got some real good friends in Missouri Outlaw that just don't play around, and
Missouri Outlaws. So the cops were there. They were trying to keep the peace because people were ready to fight Westboro. People were ready to trounce them, absolutely trounce them. Everybody was. There were little Christian, sweet Southern Baptist grannies there who were ready to fight Westboro to the death because they are making the Baptist name look bad. There were gay groups there that were ready to unite with everybody and just like, let's take them on, you know? You saw the ladies with their sign, we're here, we're queer, and we brought power tools. Everybody was uniting except Westboro, and they did not make it.
Said that I think them protesting the soldiers' funerals was just horrendous, and
You can never fix anything with an
yeah, you know, and I consider myself a hypocrite when they come this close to home.
All right, you ready? Perfect. Well, you and I are going to go over here supporting the cause. Me and a friend of mine were from St. Louis, and we decided actually last night to just come out, took a long road trip, and came out just to support the cause. We're balloon twisters in St. Louis, so we figured we'd come out and cheer people up with a few balloons.
Not wear a jacket in the summer. Yeah.
Here's an overview of the kind of damage that Westboro Baptist Church wanted to say was God's wrath. I mean, it was devastation, y'all. It was terrible. So you may be wondering what happened when Westboro got there. Well, let me tell y'all something. They stopped before they ever got close to town. They stopped, I believe it was an hour outside of Joplin, called the Joplin police and told them they weren't coming because they didn't feel safe entering town. Let me tell you something. They weren't. They were not safe entering town at all. Now, I have a lot of friends not from this area who are often like, Millennial, why do you live in a tornado zone? Like, well, I mean, the thing is, I've never not. This here is what's known as Tornado Alley and Dixie Alley, and there has never been a time in my life when I didn't live in one of these places. So, like I said earlier, I was hit last year and had to take shelter. We had significant damage, and I may talk about that more at a later date, but not today. Not today. There has never been a time in my life when tornadoes weren't a constant threat every year, and that you do get used to it. You get a little unused to it once you get hit, but you know, I've got to tell y'all, I could never live in severe cold. Severe cold hurts my body so bad. Like I said, I have chronic illness, and what scares me more is cold. I know it's silly. That's probably the only laugh I've got out in this whole video. So I'm gonna wrap this up because it's getting kind of long. There's so much more I could tell you. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna tell you all one more thing. Any of you who are into spirituality of any kind that believe that spirits visit us will enjoy this story. So after the Joplin tornado happened, a lot of really same consistent stories kept coming out from people who were in the tornado, people who were in vehicles, in their homes taking shelter, different things like that. And that's the story of the butterfly people, children. So many children. One was in a bathtub, one was in a car with their mom, another one who took shelter. They pulled over on the side of the road, and I can't remember what they were under, but they took shelter under something and almost got sucked out. And so many of them mentioned, did you see the butterfly people? The butterfly people were holding us down. There's a documentary about the butterfly people that goes over several of the children's stories. And in Joplin, there's now a large butterfly mural in honor of the butterfly people. There's a lot of artists in Joplin. It's a big art community. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this. If you watched the documentary, let me know, and I'll link Will and his sister's YouTube channels in the description. Now, if any of you live in a tornado alley area or maybe are new to storms, let me just tell you real quick something that we do. Keep a cheap pair of rubber boots just from Walmart or whatever near your door that you know that you would go out of if you needed to evacuate for a storm. Keep a cheap pair of rubber boots. Get a bucket with a lid, a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. In that bucket, keep simple things like a toothbrush, a small thing of toothpaste, a small thing of peroxide, alcohol, bandages, Band-Aids, maybe an MRE, some Nutri-Grain bars, stuff like that. These can be just from the Dollar Tree, like a pair of sweatpants, socks, underwear, water bottles, or maybe water purification tablets, if depending on your room, batteries, and a weather radio. Those are just some practical, easy things that anyone who lives in a tornado or a large disaster zone might want to consider doing. And I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you have any thoughts, I may talk about this more in other videos or about my personal experience being hit with a tornado later. If y'all are interested in that, just let me know in the comments. Hope everyone's having a good day.